Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy back at it again. Welcome to another stream. Welcome to another edition of the Rico Report, brought to you by you know who. It's the Buffalo Fanatics. Let's go. What's happening, people? Welcome to another Tuesday night stream. And you guys already know what time it is, man. So let's get right to it and get the stuff over with and done with. Welcome, everybody. Tuned in from all over the place. You guys know what it is, man. You guys are all over the place, North America, all the way out east, all the way in you know what I'm saying? You name it. Across Vietnam, wherever you want to go, from the Philippines. What's good? What's good, everybody? Listen, man, OTAs, you know what time it is. And let's go into it, man, because your boy got married. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about your boy Josh got married. Married man now. And you guys know, for the married folks in here, y'all know what time it is, man. When you're married, things change a little bit. Things change a little bit. So we'll see if the newlywed comes in as a brand new changed man, more serious and getting right to it. We'll see how that all plays out. But congratulations to our guy Josh. And listen, he wasn't here for OTAs, so he's probably enjoying his honeymoon, having a good time with his lady, and he'll come back refreshed and ready to go. So before we get into it, you guys will see the stream a little bit, the title, and it's the reload, right? The roster reload. And a lot of teams, when things don't go as planned, where they put all their marbles in to go after and get it, and they don't get to where they need to be, they tend to kind of like take a step back a little bit and start reevaluating the roster. And sometimes they really overhaul the roster. We gave it a good haul, and it didn't work out. So now we've got to revisit things and rebuild. And I was looking at our roster, and I was just kind of like looking at the OTAs and news on OTAs and looking at the roster and realizing, and what really got me thinking about it was listening to Tre'Davious White speak today. And it dawned on me. I was like, fam, this is a whole completely different team. Like we as Bills fans, we've gone through the whole drought. We went through that. We saw what didn't work for so long, and we finally have something that does work, but like nothing lasts forever, right? But we have been consistent the last 7 years. It's been incredible to see how these boys have been really doing it. And it took Tre'Davious White speaking today and speaking on general things, and speaking on him being a vet now, and the typical things that would happen. And it just got me thinking, like, wait a minute, this roster is completely changed, bro. It's not the same. Like it's revamped from top to bottom. And like it wasn't like it was overnight. It was just done so subtly and quietly. And you look at this roster, be like, yo, this roster can compete not only, for this year and for years beyond. I know I've heard people say, yo, it's Super Bowl or bust, man, or it's not happening, bro. It's always going to be Super Bowl and try to get there. But like, bro, this roster is one that can compete for years to come and really be a contender for a while. There's some teams where they got that small little window that it can compete because, certain key players are there. But, yo, we've reloaded with some young talent, and some young talent that we brought back with extensions that will really grow and build this team going forward. So it had me really, locked in and trying to, look at what's going on and how Brandon Beane came and did this. Listen, there was no fire sale. There was no dramatic rebuild and we're doing this and doing that. This was just a quiet, piece by piece, move by move, take on dead cap hit because we just want to move on from this situation and think to the future. Don't panic. We still got to compete. Like, there was a lot of things, man. Put people in the best position to be successful. And it's quietly been done by Brandon Beane. And I know he gets scrutinized, honestly, quite a bit. But this last draft has me extremely optimistic about this upcoming year and years to come. Does it have you guys that same way? I'm curious to see how y'all feel about that, because I'm optimistic. And it took Trey White, of all people, speaking to the media to kind of get me like, okay, let's look at this roster a little bit. So I'm looking at this and saying, we didn't rebuild per se, but it was more of like a nice retool. It's a reload. And I like that. I don't want to use the rebuild. We reloaded and retooled very quietly. You look at the offensive line, intact. You look at the defensive front, we got some old faces and we got some fresh faces that will be here for the long haul. You look at the defensive back room, got a lot of young guys on there. We got some veteran guys. Look at the linebacker room. You see it. You see the new fresh faces coming up. So it's very encouraging to see how this all plays out. Now, this all changes clearly and obviously. And, you know what I mean? You don't want to put it out there, but I mean, there are teams where if that one player goes down, there goes the season. And we already know what time it is. If Josh says, you know what, I'm going to take this whole year off. I'll go this route. I'm going to take this whole year off and go and hang out with my boo. Bro, this team is completely different. With Josh and how this team has been built, I'm optimistic, very optimistic. My man Bill Iam says I'd be more optimistic without injuries. I mean, every team. And we're talking here injury-free. We're talking injury-free, and what we have on the roster, this looks very promising. So I put all my notes in my phones here. So pardon me if I read down and take a look here. So like I said, no tear down, no tank. We didn't have to do any. I mean, obviously we're not going to tank at all. But like there was just some key things that Brandon Beane had to do in order to get to where we are. And there were some tough pills he had to swallow. And I mean, if you look at the offense side of the ball, let's think about it, right? You had Stephon Diggs on the roster. You had whole lot of, you had like Gabe Davis on the roster. I mean, those guys are long gone. They're long gone. It just feels like it was yesterday that you had these guys on the squad. And now it's like a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. Brandon Beane was like, yo, I'm not doing this. 31 mil, I'll take the dead cap. I know I got to eat it now. Pause. I got to eat it now, but like for the future of this team, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right, but we just got to eat it now. And the reason I can do this is because I got JA17 back here. I can afford to take on this hit because I got this guy is good enough to work without the headache that I'm going to deal with Stephon Diggs, or to work without somebody that's going to be asking for a whole lot of money, in my opinion, when he doesn't deserve it, in Gabe Davis. And you can see what's going on right now because Gabe Davis is right now a free agent. So Brandon Beane was like, I see what's happening. I'm going to eat it. And then we will rebuild with JA17 and retool. And guess what? Without those two guys, without a lot of these, without Jordan Poyer, these all heads are on the squad, bro. This guy, Josh Allen, was able to get himself that MVP. So it's like, Beane is like, I mean, we scrutinize Beane a lot, but Beane's like, oh, hold on. Just give me a second, man. Just give me a moment. Let me retool. Let me move some furniture around and let me see if I can try to figure things out. And if you look at this roster now, how could you not be optimistic about how you see things right now? Just take a look. Take a look at the running back room. I mean, obviously, contractually, we don't know what's going to happen. It seems as though Brandon says he's going to talk to my man James Cook on the back end later on. But like, you bring back, let's just say contractually, James Cook is on the roster. This is a damn good team, ready to compete full on for a Super Bowl, and not just for this year, for years to come. It looks great. So we got. It's nice to see those things coming into fruition. I mean, listen, let's take a look at the roster together, just so I'm not sitting here tripping, because I hope I share the same sentiments as a lot of Bills fans listening to the stream. And I'm looking at the offensive line because that's what sets this whole thing up. Not many places, something happened there. Not many places that you can look at on this roster and be like, I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I'm feeling that. Everywhere you look on this roster, you're like, yeah, I see the vision. I see what's going on. I like what I see. So I'm like, okay, Brandon Beane, I see you, kid. I see what you're doing, brother. And I'm here for it. So when I'm looking at this roster, I'm just going to try to set myself up here because I lost all my stuff here. Forgive me while I crack this thing and get it going. So when I'm looking at this roster, I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued by it, and I want to see a little bit more from what we see. So you're looking at the offensive line, which I'm going to touch on just a little bit. We got some youth on there, sprinkled with some veteran guys on there. Josh Allen obviously has the command of this whole offense going into his second year as the MVP guy. Great command. You love to see it. Great depth at the tight end position. How nice is it to have a starting caliber backup tight end in Dawson Knox that you can trust that you put him in the game, you're not taking a step back. You're on par. Those are great feelings to have. You go to the defensive line, right? We almost somewhat overhauled this defensive line. It doesn't look the same anymore, right? You got Joey Bosa that's welcome on the team. Greg Rousseau, new fresh contract. Landon Jackson as a rookie, right? I mean, AJ Epinesa. So we've got a mix of some guys that have been on the squad, and you got the interior line that's almost been revamped. You love to see it. And once you start seeing these guys and you start seeing you start hearing good things in OTAs. I know some people don't look at OTAs as anything. I do. I tend to kind of I don't put a whole lot of stock into it, but I like hearing the positivity, because I'll tell you right now, if we heard, man, Maxwell Harrison's been the touch behind and he ain't looking good and he's this and he's that and it doesn't look like he belongs, bro, we would be ripping Brandon Beane. Right? We would be. It's OTAs, and this guy, oh man, we picked the wrong guy. We did it to Kyrie Elam, right? So when you hear good things in OTAs, we shouldn't just scoff over and say, well, there's no pads and they're just in shorts. Nah, bro. There's a lot that goes on. I think we should celebrate that. I'm not saying put a little stock into it, but we should celebrate that. When you hear good things, it usually translates into when the pads come on. You hope that it does. So you love to see that, right? You look at the defensive overhaul, you love to see what you see, right? The secondary, Hyde being gone, Poyer being gone. Then you replace them. You got Taylor Rapp. That's a staple in this defense now. Cole Bishop. They seem to be loving what Cole Bishop has been doing this offseason, and he rightfully could be penciled in as a starter. You got Tarek Forrest that's on the squad that's going to be pushing. You have a full-grown starter in DeMar Hamlin that had a full year starting, so he's got that ability in behind him. This is promising, folks. Very promising to see. And I think these guys will be just fine in this scheme. More specifically, in this scheme, I think they'll be great. We're going to see what Cole Bishop brings to the table. There's a lot to be had, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we got going here. So as we're, I got the wrong thing here. So as I'm looking at this roster, I'm excited. So that's why it got me to it. So how did it get me here? So I'm hearing Tre'Davious White talk today. So Tre'Davious White was referring to him being a veteran guy and how guys can lean on him. And in my mind, I'm like, bro, that's got to be a tough position for Trey White to be sitting here in a position. That's got to be really tough, where he's like, man, I was once, and I guess every vet goes there, but to me, Trey is in a weird position because he's not like he's an old man. He's not an old man, right? I don't even think he's 30 yet. I think he's like, 30? He's 30, just turned 30. I think he's around that rate, 29, 30, give or take, right? I think he's 28. I don't even know. I think he's 29. Anyway, so he's sitting here going, yeah, man, I mean, I was once the young guy, and I had, some of these vets that I could lean on from way back in the day, and now they're leaning on me. So I'm listening to him, and I was like, bro, this guy, I wonder where his mind frame is. Like, I was once a starter. Obviously, I've had some injuries that slowed me down a little bit. I'm trying to work my way back up. Am I in the role, or have I relinquished the role of starter? Am I de facto like backup? Is that what it is? Has he accepted that? Was that the conversation being had with him when he came onto the squad? Bro, I'm bringing you back, but you're not coming back as a starter. I'm going to draft somebody. You are going to be the backup. Does he accept that, or was he given an opportunity to compete? So as I'm hearing him talk about what role he's taking on, it had me thinking, golly, the guys that when this team got turned around, it got turned around with guys like Tre'Davious White on the squad, right? Deion Dawkins is 31 right now, or 30 is he, right? So it's like, fam, the time is ticking, bro. Time is ticked. And when you look at it, more times than none, you're looking at this team. If teams don't do it soon enough, you catch yourself in, holy crap, I didn't handle my roster properly, and now I'm in the rebuild mode, and I got to start all over again. Where Brandon Beane has quietly moved away from some pieces and brought in some good pieces, and now we're still in compete mode. And that's why having a GM that is competent like Brandon Beane will always allow your team to compete and will always allow your team to be in contention for the Super Bowl. And I loved seeing it. And it took Trey White. I don't know what it was. He didn't say anything profound. It was just the reality of they're going to be leaning on me. Maxwell Harrison is going to be leaning on me, and he's going to have some questions, and I'm going to be able to try to answer it. I'm like, golly, times have changed. And when you look at the roster and where we're at, what Brandon Beane and McDermott are going into year 8. That's incredible, right? Same tenured team together. Most times after 5 years, man, most franchises are looking to kind of move on from that. The fact that these two are still cooking together, it's nice to see that continuity together. But you're also saying, fam, when are we going to put it all together? When are we going to win this championship? Are we not due? And I think a lot of fans have every right to ask that question. Are we not due? Can we not make this thing happen? And what I love about this is I think this team is good enough that we absolutely can compete, will compete, and I think we'll do very well. And Brandon Beane has done a grand job in building and reloading and retooling this team for us to be able to compete, which I absolutely love. I'm all for it, and let's keep it rolling. So I don't know if you guys feel the same way I'm feeling, but I'm with it, and I'm all for it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out, man. At the end of the day, that's how it plays out. So as I'm doing this, so I'm putting my notes together. So I'm like, okay, how did this all begin? How did we get to this point? Well, it came down to like, dude, we took on $58 million of debt cap. It had to hurt at first. It had to hurt. And most times when you take a big ass debt cap like that, it hurts you financially. So there's not a lot of movement you can make. I know we've been, clowning Beane by saying, bargain bin Beane. Brother had no choice. He had no choice. Bargain bin Beane had no choice. He had to I had to take this debt cap. So I'm limited on what I can do. So bear with me. Now, sometimes we Bills fans can be a little, impatient. We want it now. So Beane took on $58 million, taking off Diggs, obviously having to move on from Diggs, having to move off of Trey White when we had to, having to move off of Miller. So $58 million that brother had to eat up. All right. So there was big sacrifices in that. And you see it. And now what it does now that we took the pain early, it cleans the books for 2026 and beyond. So now the way this roster is built now, and now we'll start to kind of recoup and get some cash back in our pockets a little bit. We're going to have a lot more movement, a lot more. Maybe there is going to be that splash free agent that we bring in that gets us not only over the hump, that gets us popularly, and I'm speaking optimism in terms of optimism, gets us to our second Super Bowl. Because I think that we can compete for one this year. If we get it, we got a little more money in the bank, and boy, can we make some movements. You love to see it, right? So when I'm seeing how we had to reload and kind of take the pain, Brandon B had no choice. Had to do it. Let's take a look. Let's take a little deeper. Let's look at the defense, right? We got younger. We got cheaper, right? We had to move on from Poyer. I'm not sure if Poyer is going to find a spot. I know he's trying to come back to the Bills. Highly doubt that they do have him return, but stranger things have happened. Obviously, he moved on from Hyde officially. That's out and away with, right? Replacing them with Benford, replacing with Rapp, having Cole Bishop, right? Rapp is 26 years old. You know what I mean? Cole Bishop's, 23, 24? So, we got younger, got more explosive. We got Christian Benford there. So, we made some subtle movements, but boy, have they been impactful. absolutely impactful. So the future looks bright for this defensive backfield, and we're only going to get smarter. We're only going to be able to be immersed in this scheme that Bobby Babbage and Coach McDermott have. It looks good. It looks good. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. So now enter in the draft picks. And this is what got me a lot more excited. I have my show today on Bleach Report, and this is what got me excited. I started to look at what Maxwell Harrison brings to the table. So Babbage was speaking on the roster and talking about the likes of Max Hairston. And he mentioned, I think the question was something about speed and how he brings speed to the table and so on and so forth. And I'm paraphrasing here, but defensive coordinator Bobby Babbage was like, fam, it's not just about the speed. Speed is great, but can you play fast? And what we see from Max Harrison is not only is he fast, he's got the speed, but he's playing fast on top of that. Brother, if you playing fast, that means intellectually you got it. You know where you're supposed to be. You're fluid. Buddy, how dangerous could that be? Rookie with speed, instincts, understands what he's supposed to be doing in this defense alongside Christian Benford. You love to see it. So this draft that Brandon Beane came up with, I think this might be, and it's way too soon. I get it. Some people say, hey, man, you got to wait 3 years before you can actually talk about that type of business. But this might be Brandon Beane's best draft. This might be Brandon Beane's best draft. So, obviously we've got to see how this all plays out. It's very early, but based on what these guys and their traits can bring to this defense, buddy, this could be absolutely dangerous. So shout out to how Brandon Beane has retooled this. You love to see it. So he drafted with absolute purpose. He didn't give a rat's ass if we didn't get offense. He went defense. Let me get more defense. You love to see it. His first offensive player was freaking Jackson Haas, for crying out loud. So this is what I mean. So his skill set player, Jackson Haas. So he was like, yo, I'm good on offense. You didn't see what we did? 8 straight games with 30 points, leading the league in points per game, playoffs and regular season included. Fam, we good. We good on this offensive side. Oh, by the way, we didn't lose a beat on the offensive line. Oh, we good. Let me bolster this defense to help us out. Thanks to the Eagles that showed us that in the trenches is how you win, because those guys absolutely beat the living heck out of those Chiefs in the trenches. And it was on display for the world to see. And Brandon Beane was absolutely taking notes. And you can see it with the addition of TJ Sanders. You can see it with the addition of Deion Walker. You can see it with the addition of Landon Jackson. You love to freaking see it. Big shout out to my mans, man. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. So you love to see the draft with the purpose, and the purpose was very evident. Let's bolster this defense. Let's keep it rolling. We need to match what the offense brings to the table. And then you got a Keon Coleman from last year that's ready to take a leap. They already see that he's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. He's in his route bag. So we might see a much more refined receiver out of Keon Coleman. Golly. This is why I'm excited about this season, what this season can bring. And I'm getting, I don't want to say I'm getting myself hyped up, but I am excited to see what does take place. Let me get to my man Josh Richardson. What up, JR? JR been a member for 61 months. Big let me give you some love, man. Let me give you some love, man. I gotta give you some love. My man said, yo, what up, Rico? This D-line will be great this year. Ed Oliver will have 10 plus sacks, and I think Elijah Moore will be our X factor, and Coleman will have 14 touchdowns. All right, man. All right, B. My man Walter says, yo, let's be real, though. It didn't take the Eagles to know what we needed to fix. No, but sometimes you need to see something that allows you to say, okay, all right, let me shuffle some things around a little bit. I don't think we're far off, but we're maybe I'm not seeing something. There's something I'm missing here. Maybe there's a type of player that I'm missing, the body type. Who knows? But sometimes it does take to see something a couple times, to understand what needs to be taking place. So you love to see it. So now we've drafted with purpose. We've shown that our second-tier players or second-year players, rather, are going to have to step their game up. You'll love to see it. You're going to want to see where it all shakes out. So now it's about the long term. So you look at this team and you look, okay, I see what it is now. I see my Deion Dawkins of the world. I see my Josh Allens. I mean, I see my Matt Milanos right now, but of the future, it looks bright. Look at the linebacker room. Look at the cornerback room. Look at the old line, right? It looks great. Look at the safety room. Everywhere you look, you see the transition from, the old heads down to now the youth movement, and you love to see it. I'm all here for it. And here's the biggest thing, right? We have our franchise quarterback locked up. That's what it comes down to. Our franchise quarterback is locked up, took a long-term deal right through 2030. So at this point, that restructured or new contract to Josh Allen has allowed us to now have stability at that quarterback position, which we were always going to have. It's just a matter of when. And then you have Josh Allen saying, bro, I don't got to have 270 or whatever the case is. Yo, whatever the number I just got is good enough. Let me shave off a little bit off the top so y'all could do what you need to do. When you got a franchise quarterback that understands the biz, bro, do what you need to do. Get this roster to where you need to. Let's roll, Brandon. And Brandon was like, yes, sir. Let me cook. And that's exactly what it is. So that restructure, that re-signing extension that Josh Allen took has helped us tremendously in moving this thing forward. I don't got to say anything about Josh. That's a rare beast. That boy is rare. You don't see 6'5", 240, 250 that moves like him, that throws like him. You don't see that often. They don't come around. They don't grow on trees. They try to, you know what I mean? But they don't grow on trees like that. So you got to give a big shout out to that, right? And here's the one thing that I do like. Other than the Von Miller signing, there was no big splash free agent signing, right? We didn't go hard. We just, subtle restructures here, extensions here, but we didn't go give a huge deal. We could have, because of Bosa's name, we could have threw the bag at Bosa. We're like, nah, bro, I ain't going to do that. We see what's going on. I'm going to give you a little bag. If you can show me what you got, then we'll keep it rolling. So you love to see it. So no wild free agent spending, no splashy overpays. I don't think anybody on this team got overpaid. Did you find anybody on this team that got overpaid? I certainly did not. I think everybody got the right number. Actually, the guys that we did sign and the guys that we gave an extension to were below than what we expected. Rousseau, Benford, Bernard, every one of these guys got signed. Khalil Shakir, they signed for something that was below than what we totally expected for them to get signed to. So Brandon Beane has done an excellent job by not going overboard and splashy. Love to see it. A lot of value. Curtis Samuel's going to bring some value, and I hope that he finds his niche in this offense, right? And obviously bringing Elijah Moore. Now that is where I'm very intrigued on what Elijah Moore can bring to this offense, because you have now double trouble in terms of speed and agility in terms of Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir, double trouble, triple trouble, right? Triple threat. Khalil, Elijah, and you got Curtis Samuel. So those guys, this is where Joe Brady is going to have to find a way to integrate those three guys. Those three guys, they're going to have to. And I love that Brady was like, bro, Elijah Moore is not a guy that you just stick inside. So we may see a lot of him on the outside, him paired with Josh Palmer. Keon Coleman might switch inside a little bit. There's going to be a lot of tinkering that Joe Brady is going to have to do, and that is a great problem to have. A great problem to have. My man said, hold on. Somebody said, low-key, who's overpaid? Bernard. Did you think Bernard got overpaid? I don't think so. I thought he got overpaid. I think he got paid on par, if not below what market would have said for someone like that to get paid. I thought he got well below what he could have gotten, to be honest with you. But listen, that's your opinion as well. That's your opinion. Can't hate on that, right? So love the fact that there was no splashy overpays. I think that we did it smart. We did everything affordable, that it fits this team. Everything that you see on this team was affordable, able, and was able to fit on this team and make this thing work. And that's what you want at the end of the day. So that's why it's going to be extremely tough for when it really comes down to it. When it's time for these cuts to be made, I'll be interested to see how that all shakes out. So you absolutely love to see it. Give me a sec here. Let me get this thing here. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. So So offensive line continuity, and this is what I wanted to get to. So we got into no splashy overpays. It's the O-line. This whole thing is put together and held together by this O-line. This Bills O-line coming back intact. You'll love to see it. And it really starts off with Connor McGovern in the middle, where there were some questions about Connor McGovern, right? Is he going to be the guy to really replace Mitch Morse? Does he have the smarts to do that? Does he have the leadership to do that? I think he's stepped in there admirably, to be quite honest. I think he's done a great job, athletic, and he's back to his original natural position, and he's done a fantastic job doing that. And you've got obviously Deion Dawkins that's holding the fort down. Osiris Torrance that is coming into his own, a young piece on this team. How could you hate? How could you not love what you see, right? Spencer Brown, the big old 6'8" right tackle, one of the best duos. I mean, I saw a graphic out there today, or was it yesterday, talking about the best duo tackles in the game. And the Bills weren't named as one of the best duo tackles. I think it was like top 5 or top 10. And I couldn't believe that I didn't see Spencer Brown alongside Deion Dawkins. And if that's not on that list, then you might as well call him the underrated tackle duo, because you have that duo on the squad. Then you got Osiris Torrance, you got Edwards on the one side, and you got Connor that's doing his thing. Bro, Connor is doing his thing. Him and Josh are like this. They've made it out, and you got youth on the line. Spencer Brown, young dude. Osiris Torrance, young cat. Connor McGovern. The old head on the squads are Deion, and Deion's 30, 31. So we good. We are looking fantastic. This O-line is what's going to allow us to continue to have a balanced offense, a team that can run the football, and a team that can absolutely whip that ball around the field. And the example, case in point, being the first team to have 30 touchdowns on the ground and 30 touchdowns in the air. How balanced can you be? You'll love to see it. And we didn't move anybody on that line. Yo, give some love, man. That's what I'm saying, man. We've slowly retooled this team. We've reloaded quietly. And if you look at this roster, you'll be like, yo, this is a squad that is going to be together a while. Josh coming back off this MVP season. Awareness is through the roof now. He sees and knows what he's supposed to do, what it takes to get this team to be where they're supposed to be. Now you've added more talent. You've added a lot more talent on the offensive side, in my opinion. And when you look at the receiver room, I think it's going to be better. And where Josh excels is when you give him receivers that separate, where he doesn't have to think. He doesn't have to, fit. Yo, these guys are getting at least 1 yard to 2 yards of separation, bro. I'm on you. Don't worry about me. I'll get the ball to you. Let's keep it rolling. So you love to see it. So that offensive line continuity, having Dawkins, McGovern, Torrance, that's a stable unit right there. Those two right there is a stable unit. They keep Josh Allen upright. One of the least sacked quarterbacks all last year. You love to see it. How many games did you see Josh? I think the first game of the season against Arizona Cardinals, I think that might have been the only game that you probably would have saw Josh with a little dirt on his jersey. Because, we were sluggish a little bit. Then we had to get back on our horse and get this game out of the way and get that win. Other than that, man, we kept that brother uptight, upright, ready to go. So big shout out to the O-line. You'll love to see that offensive line continuity. Let's keep it rolling. Culture. Look what we've done. We've built the culture. The leaders are on this squad. Obviously, Deion Dawkins and Josh Allen being, the big-time dogs on the squad. Milano, not much of a talker, but he's a quiet leader. Taron Johnson. Now you bring back Tre'Davious White. Now you have guys that have been Dane Jackson. You can say they put Dane Jackson in there as well. Guys that know the culture, that have been around the culture. These are guys that you want them to step up. And now you have the new guys, right, that are coming up. The the Greg Rousseaus of the world. They're now going to have to find their role on the squad and see where they can take over. Von Miller being the high chief is gone now. So now new young bucks have got to step up. So Rousseau is going to have to step up. Ed Oliver. DaQuan Jones obviously still there, but we got some new guys that are going to have to step up. Terrell Bernard, he's already taken lead as a top dog. So I see that continuing. So that culture is a big thing. I used to, and I got Hilser saying something, man. And I'm gonna jump in there real quick. He goes, let's resurrect the culture is overrated argument. Let's resurrect the culture is overrated. Okay, so I'm with you. Because I used to be, man, F the culture, man. Culture ain't nothing, man. You just give me talented guys. I'm gonna say something. Over time, you start to see that it does matter, and sometimes you got to admit that when you look at something, yeah, no, I was wrong about that. Culture does matter. You just because you got to have the right people. Because I'm thinking about it, man. Could you imagine if you had, and I'm a fan of Stephon Diggs, so this is not a hate on Stephon, but you had a Stephon that was an unhappy Stephon. You had I'm trying to think of guys that have been somewhat of a problem, and we don't really have guys that are problems. So I'll just use Stephon for now. Imagine Stephon still on the squad, and then now McDermott having to answer for Stephon Diggs, and I can't believe I'm bringing Stephon Diggs up, but you guys catch my point. Imagine McDermott having to bring up Stephon Diggs, and hey, we saw Stephon on the boat with his new lady, maybe Cardi B, and he was talking to a whole bunch of honeys, and he had a package in his hand, and he handed it to the girls, and he said, "Yo, don't take too much of this and come back and see me." Care to explain, McDermott? Bro, we don't got to deal with that, fam. We don't have to deal with that. Like, those are the things that you're like, bro, like, although this offseason, you're doing what you got to do, but, like, you don't want. So culture does matter, right? At one point, Brandon Beane was like, yo, I'm not doing that. I see what's causing people to talk about this. Like, how nice was it last year to not have to have anybody talk about anything? There was no, yo, do you see what's happening in Buffalo? Did you see that? You know what I mean? Stephon, bro, there was none of that. There was none of that. How nice is it? So culture does matter, right? Especially when guys start to get a little unhappy. Because, I mean, not everybody's going to stay happy. But if you're about the team, you're about what's important, bro, you're going to take a step back and say, yo, mom's the word. I'm going to just put my head down and get to work and get to business. And it was lovely to see that we didn't have to deal with that. So big time move. Love to see it. Let's keep it rolling, right? So culture does make a big time difference, and it's led by McDermott. McDermott still has that locker room. A lot of people might say, man, there was a point where they thought that he lost the locker room. I remember hearing it. Has McDermott? I mean, is the message stale in the locker room? Are they not? Nah, bro. They respect that brother. They respect McDermott. They respect Beane, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. He has that locker room, and that locker room has his back. And it was evident when Tyler Dunn put that article out, whether you want to call it was malicious or not. When Tyler Dunn put that article out, the team absolutely held him down and said, yo, we got you. And you saw what took place. They put that shit together and say, yo, let's rock. I mean, you're going to talk about my coach like that. And look, it was clear and evident. You love to see it, man. So culture indeed intact and full on ready to go. You love to see it. And that's what a squad, man. And you have that led by Deion Dawkins and Josh Allen. And you know what I mean? Bernard, bro, you in good company. You're in great company, right? So let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling, man. We talked a little bit about it, and I'm going to mention it again, the future draft picks, right? We didn't give up any future draft picks. Actually, I think we gained one, to be quite fair. So we didn't trade any future asset. We stayed competitive. So future draft picks later on, and now we're going to have a little bit more money in the bank because now some of those dead cap hits are going to be rolled away. So we maintain that flexibility for years to come where we can move things here around. And it's not too late, but I'm going to see. So, listen, Brandon Beane we've seen it before where when it comes down to it, we did it with Daryl Johnson. We did it with Boogie Basham, where we're like, okay, we don't have a space for you on the squad, but you're as talented as anyway. We're going to find you somewhere else. And he got draft capital back. So who is going to be that player on the squad that you end up saying, okay, man, we gotta make something happen. We got to move this player. There might be a guy on this squad right now that could be on the bubble, and we may have to move on from that player. I don't know who. I don't know who's going to step up and make things happen or make things difficult for other people. We shall see. I know that there's going to be great competition at the safety position. There's going to be great competition at the cornerback position. There's great competition at the receiver position. So you just never know, right? Maybe James Cook. I'm going to get into James Cook in just a little bit, but maybe James Cook could be subject for conversation in potentially moving him. Because, I mean, do we want that to happen? Heck no. We want everybody to stay intact and get ready to roll. But I'm going to jump on James Cook in just a little bit. But we have things intact, ready to go. The window is absolutely open and sustainable. So love what my man has done, and we want to keep it rolling, right? So obviously, I'm looking at cap management. Brandon Bean has done a decent job of managing this cap, knowing that we didn't have a whole lot of movement to spend on people. We did what we could. He sat in that bargain bin. The brother was in bargain bin mode for like 2 years. 2 years of bargain bin mode. So next year we're gonna see how this all shakes out. But cap management was I don't want to call it elite, but cap management, he did a great job of keeping things intact and not giving things away and not saying panicking and saying, all right, we got to move this and move that. Nah, bro, we kept it low key, quiet, built this team nice. We're ready to roll. All right. And lastly, man, if people aren't paying attention,
Buffalo Fanatics, what's going on? This is Pierre the Kingpin, and I wanted to talk to you today about Cigars International, which is the ultimate destination for premium homemade cigars. Known as the industry leader, Cigars International offers the largest selection, unbeatable prices, and a customer service experience that's second to none. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned vet, Cigars International makes enjoying cigars easy, approachable, and fun. Cigars International is the go-to retailer for all things cigars, with the biggest selection of premium homemade cigars available anywhere. Cigars International offers unbeatable deals and discounts, making it easy to stock up on your favorite or try something new without breaking the bank. With fast free shipping and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can shop with confidence knowing that Cigars International stands behind every order. They have good relationship with vendors that helps provide great low prices. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned pro, Cigars International makes it easy to find the right cigar with helpful guides, staff reviews, and expert advice. It's not just about cigars. Cigars International also offers a wide range of accessories and more to elevate your smoking experience. Check out the great deals every day at cigarsinternational.com. That's cigars, CIGARS, international.com. Use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply. Again, use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply.
Don't let this quiet reload fly under the radar, because this team could easily win a whole lot of games, get that first round bye. You know what I'm saying? Have that rest and get ready to really compete. What a storybook it would absolutely be if the Bills were able to do all the things that we've desired for years. We've been to the Super Bowl before. Some of us weren't even born that are watching this stream right now. Some of us were too young to really appreciate it, right? When you're an 8, 9-year-old, you're too young to really appreciate what these Bills were, what these Bills did. So now when you're of age and you know the pain, you want that. So how great would that be for the squad to really get it cracking? You love to see it. So a big shout out to this quiet reload that this Brandon Bean led team has undergone. You just love to see it. Let me give a shout out to my man Richie Fresh. What up, Rich? Culture matters, but to what degree? It's a great question. 1/3 of the Chiefs roster has been arrested, etc., and them boys got multiple Super Bowls. That's not to say screw culture, but I think y'all get what I mean. Let's eat. And I hear you. You said, yo, hit that horn. Let me give you a horn. I'll give you a quiet horn. I'll give you a quiet horn. He said 1/3 of the team. The only person I know, obviously there's 2 of them. 2 arrests on the squad, but shoot. I get your point. Culture does matter, though. It does matter. You obviously want some dogs on the squad. And I've been vocal about it. Sometimes you can't always go and get the nice guy. I've been vocal about it. You've heard me say it. You can't always go and get the nice guy. Well, sometimes You need to sprinkle you need to have a good balance of, you know what I mean, that one guy that is rough around the edges, but you have to have big enough leaders that can say, yo, I know you're rough around the edges, I'm gonna hold you down, right? I.e., I mean, I don't know if this is a good example to use, but I'm gonna put it out there anyway, because if you guys followed the Chicago Bulls, let's take a look. Mike Jordan, you had Scottie Pippen, you had Michael Jordan. Yeah, those two guys were locked in, ready to go. And then you had a wild horse in Rodman, and Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman isn't for everyone. Dennis Rodman is not for everyone. And Dennis is going to do what he needs to do for himself, et cetera, et cetera. And, bro, let him go do what he needs to do. As long as we can get him to lock in and show up and do what he needs to do, you cool. And sometimes it's okay to have some of those. I mean, you don't want an extreme Dennis Rodman, but if you have good enough guys on the squad, like a Pippen or a Jordan that can say, all right, we got him. He's good. Don't worry about it. As long as he needs to do what he needs to do, we got that. You love to see it. You love to see it. So I think we have enough of the leaders on the squad that we can absolutely get that done. Shout out to what up, Sai? What I saw? I see you, bro. TJ Sanders listens to the NBA Youngboy before games. he might be onto bad intentions. Hey, man, you never know. But we got the leaders on the squad to say, hey, man, you can listen to all the NBA Youngboy all you want. I mean, put that stuff on the field, but off the field, yo, I want you to be chill, bro. But yo, NBA Youngboy all you want, man. Just bring that stuff onto the field. But I see you, T. I see you, Sai. I see you, bro. NBA Youngboy. So I say this to say, man, listen, we could have easily been a team that we went all in. Chips all in like the Rams. Yo, F them picks were going all in, and it worked out for them. And they haven't been quite back to what they were since they've won the Super Bowl, right? They've had some injuries, obviously, but they've had to really move some things around. A lot of teams, I mean, guys have left. They're not on the same squad. They've rebuilt. They've had to rebuild that team. This Bills team is quietly retooling. They've retooled, and they've retooled enough that I can see this team competing for multiple years. Not like, oh, by next year, man, there's going to be a lot of free agents got to go and do that. Nah, bro, we good. We good over here, man. We got rid of the things that we would have needed to, and now we're on a roll, right? Khalil Shakir, bang, long-term. Josh Palmer, bang, long-term. Keon Coleman, bang, long-term. You know what I mean? And I can see if Elijah Moore does what he needs to do, bang, long-term. Looks good. Maxwell Harrison, long-term. Christian Bedford, long-term. Cole Bishop on his rookie deal, if he does well enough, long-term. Bernard, long-term. Dorian Williams will be a nice freaking linebacker. I can see him coming back and being long-term. Bro, we got some great young pieces on this team. Let's just say Joey Bosa doesn't work out. All right, bet. Landon Jackson, right there. And if we have to reload in the draft again, we go and get another guy. Well, guess what? Landon Jackson, Greg Rousseau. Fam, like, we're good. Brandon Beane has put the right pieces in place to handle business, man. There's not really many positions you can look at and say, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. I mean, so I like to see it. What's up, Laura? Laura says, I'm really excited to see what Keon can do this year. As am I. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all shakes out. I'm big on that. Keon was one of those guys where, like, it wasn't a popular pick when we picked him. If we're going to keep it real, it wasn't a popular one. I for one was not one that was like, yo, go get Keon. I wanted a Donai Mitchell. However, it is what it is. However, my girl Laura, I want to see what Keon does, man, because he had a talking to by Brandon Beane. Brandon Beane was like, yo, I need you to lock in. I need you to come back next year, and I want you to be that guy. So we draft you with our first pick a couple years ago, and I want to get my return on investment. So show me what you got, get in that gym, do what you need to do. You're not in college anymore. You can really focus on your nutrition, focus on the weightlifting, and you'll be all right. And look at this. He comes back looking better than ever, ready to go. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it, man. Shout out to my man, Cody Benz. Cody Benz says, yo, man, imagine James Cook and Diggs were on a team on that boat. That would have been something. Thank God that we good. I'm telling you, man. Now, let me get into this James Cook thing, because it feels like we do talk about James Cook a lot, but we'll see. Hold on. Before I get into James Cook, my man Richie says, yo, here's the thing, Rico. Rams went all in and won. You're right. And hold on. The Rams went all in and won it all, and not crappy or drop off earth by any means. No, you're right. You're right. What I want to say is when they did go all in and won it, they haven't really been back like that. Watch out for that Rams team because they've just been on the cusp. Right? Not watch out for that Rams team, but you're always constantly saying watch out for that Bills, watch out for that Bills until we hit the playoffs and then we poop with the bed. So, but what I love about what we've done with this is we didn't have to go all in. We have our franchise guy, and now we keep building around our franchise guy. And now Bean was like, okay, our franchise guy is built well enough around. So let's go help him on that defensive side of the ball. Because really, if we're truly talking about it, that's where we as fans have been complaining that Brandon Bean hasn't done enough, if you will, to help out Josh on the defensive side of the ball, because it's the defense that's always letting Josh down. We've heard it. We've seen it for years, and too many years, if that. Josh's numbers are too great, and we need that defense to be a little bit more consistent. Now, mind you, last year, the defense did exactly what they needed to do, make a stop, give the ball back to Josh. It just didn't pan out. So this is where we need to retool, and I think we have. And we've made some shifts here and there. And I think we're gonna be a solid team going forward. So we'll see how it all comes out in the end. At the end of the day, my man said, "Yo, I can't stand Diggs, but but him partying on the boat, gotta respect it. He's living his life. I mean, listen, man, he's living his life, man. But you gotta remember, cameras are everywhere, boy. Cameras are everywhere. So you gotta be mindful. That sucks because these days people don't come up to you like this. They don't come up to you like this now. Now they're wearing glasses with the cameras on there. So, I mean, you don't know what's recording you these days, man. So act accordingly. What up, Sai? Sai says, yo, man, Rico, I wanted Keon and Dion. You guys will thank me later. Oh, shoot. Okay. I don't know many people that were really asking for Keon, to be honest with you. It was like, oh, let's get Xavier Worthy. Let's get Xavier Worthy. Or let's get this guy. Let's get that guy. I, for one, was Adonai. Was right there for us. But, yo, kudos to you, man. And I want second year Keon loaded, ready to go. I'm ready for that, man. And you know what else I'm ready for? I'm ready for them some those live streams that you got on X, bro. I'm ready for them, man. I'm ready for you. You took a little break right now, so I'm waiting for you to come back on there so I can get on those live shows with you, man. All right. My man Richie, what up, Rich? Rich says, yo, impromptu question topic. Here we go. If we agree Bean went all in for draft, McDermott has zero excuse. If he loses a fifth time to the Chiefs, do we retool head coach? Cool. It was a topic I kind of wanted to hit impromptu, but I'm gonna hit it because it's a topic of conversation right now. So let's take a look. It's very similar to what's happened in New York with Coach Thibodeau. Thibodeau, the New York Knicks head coach, first coach in 25 years to bring the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Championship. They were just one game away, and their players didn't play well enough. Karl Anthony Towns, not good enough. Jalen Brunson, not good enough. Hart, not good enough. They weren't good enough that game. Tibbs has been a successful coach everywhere he's gone. He's had defense. He's a very defensive-minded guy, and if you playing well, you stay on the court. That's just what it is. But the Knicks fired him. Even now, people talk about him being fired. They disagree with it. Now, you don't make, and this is what the biggest problem is. A lot of people try to call for McDermott's name. Fire his ass. But there's no, okay, but who you bringing on? Who you going to bring on that's going to take on this team and not shuffle things up and et cetera, et cetera. I bring this up because a lot of conversation now is, okay, Thibodeau just got fired. Though they must have somebody in mind that they want on the squad. They must, because they're not just going to fire him and just do a retread of some next cat or a guy that's on the roster. No. They have someone. Some folks are saying Mike Malone is going to be that guy. Some folks are saying they've got somebody in mind. Or were they just so damn pissed off that they didn't get the job done and they went all in on him to say, yo, you got to go. So now enter McDermott. If the Bills were to move on from McDermott, if he doesn't get it done next year, there'll be a lot of people saying, what are the Bills doing? You have a guy that gets it, that's doing what he needs to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How could you let him go? He was just at the AFC Championship with a possession left to get over the hump. You guys are close. Why would you do that? Because a lot of Knicks fans are saying, yo, you guys are close. Why would you go and get rid of Thibodeau, man? You have a whole offseason to put things together and get back to it. And you're in the East. Ain't nothing going on in the East. The West is where it's at. So, fair question. Richie, what do you do with McDermott if he doesn't cut it? Unfortunately, I was on this boat last year where, bro, if he loses a fourth straight time, yo, he's got to go. I love McDermott, but he's got to go. They said extension. So he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So even if, and it would have to be such a collapse, A, B, the locker room is not effing with them, and 3, C, if you will, the dagger, Josh would have to say, I don't like McDermott as my coach. Yo, me and him don't see eye to eye. If he went to Bean and said, yo, I ain't doing it. Not for him. No way. That's the only way I see McDermott leaving. Those 3, where it's an epic collapse of the season. He's lost the locker room, and Josh Allen says, yo, I'm done with McDermott. I guarantee you Bean will be like, all right, he's got to go. He'll talk to Pagula. Pagula will be like, yo, Josh doesn't want him? Cool, he's got to go. But they would have had to have, or they will have to have somebody right there ready to go. Like, you would have to have somebody in mind. No different than when the New England Patriots let go of old boy, forget his name, and then they brought in Vrabel. They moved on from him knowing they're going for Vrabel. They knew. As soon as Buddy was given the chance to coach, and he had a terrible year with no quarterback, with a rookie quarterback, and a roster that wasn't built to do anything, bro, they moved on from him. And then they brought in Vrabel. And Vrabel is a damn good coach, but they moved on from him knowing that they got Vrabel. The Bills, if they ever move on from McDermott, you better know who you're going for. And I don't know what up-and-coming coach is really doing it in the game right now. I don't know what coordinator is a super hot coordinator. I don't know if they say, you know what? Josh would have to literally say, get McDermott out of here. I want Joe Brady as my coach if they were to go internal. I don't know who else is external that they would actually go for. So it's a valid question. It's a valid question, Rich, but I can't see them retooling and moving on from coach unless those 3 things happen. So McDermott better win this damn thing. Let's just put it this way. He better win this freaking thing and call it a day. All right? Thank you for bringing that up, because that's a great question when it comes to coach, because I had to bring up the Knicks, because the Knicks, fam, the Knicks were so close, man. I'm a fan. Listen, man, when I was growing up, young, I was a big Supersonics guy. That was my team. Young, Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, Detlef Schrempf, like all them cats. Those are my dudes, right? And then I became a Kobe guy. Kobe was my player, and then I followed Kobe, and then that was it for me. Okay, but I bring this up because when you're looking at what this landscape brings, give me a second here. When you're looking at what this landscape brings and how the basketball analogy that I brought up, it's just one of those things where sometimes you got to retool. Sometimes you got to retool. You got to shake things up. I just hope it's not with us. I just hope it's not with McDermott. I hope he actually wins it and he just puts it all to bed. Put it all to bed. That's what you want. Now, let me get to my next one, which is, hold on, I got Walter saying, yo, you can watch the NBA for many reasons, but never watch it expecting loyalty. That is true, man. Yo, they let coaches go left, right, center. There's guys like Popovich that will stay around for a long time because he's always a proven winner and he's got championships to prove it. But they weren't ever going to let go of Pop. Pop is a legend, and obviously his illness has that changed things. But there's a lot of there's no loyalty in the NBA, bro. There's no loyalty whatsoever. All right, last topic for me, I'm gonna hit is James Cook. James Cook, I know. James Cook. I feel like we talk about James Cook all the time, but there's a topic. There's something I want to hit with James Cook, right? So he doesn't show up in OTAs yet again. Okay, which is fine, which is totally fine, right? Your prerogative if you don't show up. So I'm thinking to myself, what's the end goal here for James Cook and the Bills? What's the end goal and what's the end game for Brandon Beane? James Cook and the Bills. Okay, he wants to get paid $15 million. Kim says, yo, Rico, your head is cold with that high and tight haircut. Oh, you like that? Listen, I was just like a month ago. Y'all remember I shaved my head. The hair, listen, side note. Let me get a side note real quick. I gotta say something, man. I gotta say something to y'all because I absolutely understand. I absolutely understand when you see men that shave their that have the whole George Jefferson look, or they're balding up in here and got a whole head of hair here. Like I'm getting there. I'm going into my corners, right? I mean, you get older, that's what happens, right? But I shaved my head because I was like, yo, I'm not doing this paying. I pay $60 for a haircut every time. Every time I go, every 2 weeks, $60, $60, $60. I was like, fam. And I'm like, I'm done with that. So I said, yo, I'm gonna go get myself this little flybird and shave my head. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's gonna be easy. I'm just gonna shave it. I'm just gonna go bald, and that's just what it is. Because that's how I grew up. I grew up always having a really, really low cut. I grew up in a Christian household, man. You weren't allowed. I mean, in the 90s, when you were getting your haircut, my mom would take me. She'd tell the barber, yo, clean it. I was like, Ma, I just want that line in my head. Can you just get me at that line? She's like, nah, you're not doing that. So I always grew up with just a done. Okay. So Richie's like, yo, what's your shirt say? Oh, you guys never saw this shirt? I created this shirt a long time ago. I'm going to see if we can recreate it. I don't know if you guys can see it. She loves big sacks in that book. This is an old school shirt. You guys don't remember this? Don't you see that, Buffalo Fanatics? If you guys like this shirt, you let me know, and I'll hook y'all up. We can try to rebrand it and bring it back onto the thing. So that's what the shirt says. But let me keep it rolling, right? So I feel you. Those that are constantly shaving their heads. Yo, my hair grows back every 2 days. 2 days. It's like, yo, I got to keep shaving it. I got sick of it. I was like, I'm not doing this every 2 to 3 days. I'm out. So then I was like, okay, I get it now. When men just say, F it, they just look like they just don't care about life and their hair is all out of whack. It's because they're lazy and don't want to shave their head because they get sick of it. I totally get it. It takes, when you see these bald men out here, let me tell you, these men are dedicated. They're usually great on hygiene because they're shaving their head every two. They were a guy that used to have a lineup every couple weeks and they'd shave their head. I'm just not there yet. I'm not ready to shave my head every 2 to 3 days, man. So that little corners that I'm losing, yo, I'll just get a little bit of, and then I'll keep it rolling because I still got a whole lot of hair left. So I mean, that was this little side story. But golly, man. My koala bear says, yo, same Rico. I never got the designer haircut. It was always the same buzz. Bro, when you go up in a conservative Christian household, mom is like, bro, no. I was like, Mom, can I just get that one line? You mean like whoever? Can I get that one line like Nas? Nope. Can I just get the one line on the side? Hell no. It was just done. Until, I mean, I was old enough to do my own stuff. And then I was like, then I started getting my haircut. I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember that where there was a time in the 90s where the double outline was the rage? I don't know if you remember that. There was a lineup, but then there was a double lineup. I did that a couple times. That was the thing back in the day. And now you don't see anybody do that. You're like, yo, man, we had new times, bro. What you doing? Anyway, I digress. So let me get into the double edge up. Y'all remember the double edge up, man? That double edge up was that was the thing. That was the thing back in the day. Anyway, let me get into my point, and I'm gonna get out of here with just James Cook. So James Cook, what's the end game? What is the end game with James Cook, Brandon Beane, and these Bills? James Cook is like, I ain't doing OTAs. I'm not doing it. So mandatory, I'll show up if he shows up. Okay. So let's just say James doesn't show up to mandatories. Okay. So he's digging deep and he wants a contract. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's just say he goes, now it's mandatory camp. And he says, I ain't showing up. I want a contract. And if you're not going to give me a contract, trade me. So now Brandon Beane is now put in a position. it's a win-win for Brandon because Brandon says, I mean, obviously Brandon wants him on the squad, but maybe not at that price. So there was a report by Albert Breer that said that they tried to get a deal done with James Cook. They tried, but James was like, no, I'm sticking to my 15. So if James is hard set on 15 and the Bills allegedly tried to get him to sign and you know what I mean, sign the core group, right? Bernard, Khalil, Christian Benford, James Cook, Greg Rousseau. It would have been nice. The core group brought back the young guys. But James Cook was like, no, I want my 15. Fine. So what did the Bills offer James Cook that he was like, I'm not taking it? Because you think they would have somewhat met in the middle. Was it that low? And I'm not bringing up new conversation here. It's just by the reports from Albert Breer saying that, bro, there were talks. It's just that they're too far apart. So how far apart can you be? Like, what? I get 15, you want 15, but like, why are you dead set on 15? Can you not be flexible? And what did Brandon Beane offer James Cook that he was like, hell no, I'm not doing it? Was it insulting? Was it less than 10? John Sanders is probably like, yo, he probably offered him $8 million a year. $8 million a year is low. I think if he were to even get that offer, I don't know what the offer would have been, but if $8 million a year was the offer, is that too low? Would you guys consider that too low? And is James Cook justified for saying no to $8 million if that was the offer? Because if it was the offer for James Cook at $8 million, I think if I'm James Cook, I'd be like, come on, guys, like $8 million? Nah, bro, you got to move up to that. No, you got to move up. Let's meet. Let's meet somewhere. So maybe their max was 10. And James is like, hell no. Okay, so if that's the case, what's the end game? Because I get it. They offered King Henry $8 million, but let's not forget, King Henry is also 29, 30. So yes, it makes sense. That's where the running backs are supposed to decline. But I see the work regimen that he has every offseason, Derrick Henry I'm referring to, and this guy works like a beast. So they wanted to see what he can do with $8 million. And he didn't shy away from it. He's like, okay, I'll take it. And when he took it, he killed it. And they said, now we see what you got. I'll give you an extension for 2 years, and now you'll make $50 million a year. So now enter Brandon Beane. So Brandon Beane's got to be like, okay, well, I offered you X. We don't know what it is. You want 15. Okay, so like, what the heck are we doing? So like, what's the end game here? So here's how I'm looking at it. My girl Laura says, you are freaked out about Cook's situation last night. I'm trying to remain calm tonight. I'm trying to remain calm too, but I'm trying to look at what's going down, okay? Because everybody's at camp, everybody's at OTAs except for this brother, right? And you're in your rookie deal. My man Walter says, yo, am I the only one that remembers Hines? We paid that man $5 million to be RB2, and we think Cook is only going to take 8. Thank you, Walter, because I'm with you there. We did play Nyheim Hines $5 million to be the backup. Now, mind you, he was going to be the return guy too, and he would have been worth every penny. But we did offer him 5. So how could you offer him 8? And I'm not saying 8 was the number we offered. I'm just saying, could it have been 8? Is there rumors? Have you seen anywhere that it said 8? Because I haven't seen anything. I'm just assuming if James Cook must have been so insulted not to take 8. He was like, yo, I'm not sure. You guys are insulting me. And no one, and then it would justify him watching everybody's pockets getting paid. Bro, you offered me 8, but you paying Christian Bedford this, you're paying that guy that, you're paying Greg Rousseau this. Bro, I need to get paid too. So what did Beane offer him? That's one thing. So let's keep playing this thing, right? So Brandon Beane stays put and says, nah, I ain't touching that contract until next year. James Cook can go out there, and let's keep it a buck. He's a back-to-back 1,000-yard runner. He had 1,100 yards last year, 2 years ago. He had 1,000 yards this past season, and then had 16 rushing touchdowns this season, and he had 2 the last. He's got 18 touchdowns and 2,200 yards rushing in the last 2 years. Okay. So Brandon Beane's got to look at this and say, okay, so you gave me 16 touchdowns, 1,000 yards rushing. You gave me 1,000 yards last year. And you gave me 2 touchdowns. Which is the real James Cook? What am I dealing with? Am I dealing with a 16 touchdown guy that can give that to me consistently? Or are you more of a 2 touchdown guy that got really lucky, or things worked out well for you? Which one are you? Because if I'm a GM, I want to know which one are you. And if I'm going to pay for you to be my future back and my feature back, which one am I getting? 16 or 2? 1,000 yards really isn't anything. At 60, now that there's more games, that's 60 yards per? We got 18 games. They play 17 games. Let me get my math right. How many? I mean, 60 times 17 games they play? That's 60 yards, right? 59 times 17. Listen, you got to give me 55 rushing. Nah, it's going to be 57, right? If I'm getting my math right. Less than 60. So you got to give me less than 60 yards rushing a game for you to get me 1,000 yards. We're keeping it a buck here. Let's be more specific. I want to be more specific here. So he's got to give me, that's exactly right. He's got to give me 59 yards per game. Okay, that gives him 1,003 yards. So less than 60. So let's call it 60 yards a game you got to give me. And that, you want me to give you 15 mil for that? And we got to keep it real, though. We honestly have to keep it real. 1,000-yard back, 60 yards a game. What I really need to see is, can you give me 16 touchdowns again? Right? That's points on the board. That's what I need. I can get you 60 yards rushing from Ray Davis. Let's keep it 100. I can get you 60 yards rushing from Ray Davis. So you want 15 mil for 60 yards a game? No. We got to talk about that, bro. We got to talk about that. It's the touchdowns. So Brandon Beane is like, all right, well, if that's what you want, I need to see it again. And he's like, I just gave it to you. I earned it. I gave you 2 years, 2 Pro Bowls. I've earned it. Brandon Beane's like, no, you haven't. As far as I'm concerned, you signed to me for 4 years, bro. I got another year out of you. So if you want this contract bad enough, you got to give me at least double-digit touchdowns. And I need to see it. And that's, to me, that's fair. That is absolutely fair. Especially if you're uncertain what this guy can give you. If he was giving you consistently 8 touchdowns a year, then you know that, he's minimum giving me 8. So I can guarantee him to get, if I give him a little more output, he's going to give me more. So now Brandon Beane is playing hardball. So you're going to show me what you got, and we'll talk at the end of the season. The ball's in your court. That's fair. But here's the problem. What if he does go out and says, I got 15 rushing touchdowns, and I gave you 1,300 yards rushing? My price just went up. Now Brandon's got to be in the same position again. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Is it inevitable that James Cook will walk? Because if I understand this correctly, if they let James Cook walk after the deal is done, there's a comp pick. You let a free agent walk. I don't know if it's a number of free agents or free agent walks. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it. But if he doesn't bring him back, James Cook is gone, you get a comp pick back. If James Cook kills it and gives you 16 rushing touchdowns, or maybe, it gives you 12 and gives you 1,300 yards rushing, what does he get? What's the compensation for that? Is he going to stick to 15 mil? You want a 15, I'll give you 15. Or did the price go up? Now, if James Cook gives him 800 yards rushing and gives him 5 touchdowns, Brandon Beane is going to say, that's not worth 15 mil for you, buddy. So now you're going to take what I originally offered you, which is, we don't know, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What is it? Let's not forget, Josh Jacobs, dog. He's getting paid 12.5 mil. Jonathan Taylor, 14 mil. We already know what he gives you. 3 down back, Josh Jacobs, 3 down back. So those are all the things that factor into this. So this will be absolutely interesting on what James Cook does. And then here's the third option. He holds out and he says, yo, just trade me, bro. Just trade me. Clearly you don't respect me. You're not trying to do nothing, whatever. Just trade me. So now Brandon Beane has a decision to make. You got to trade that, brother. I don't want that. I do not want that. I want all my guys on the squad so we can make this push for the damn Super Bowl. So what do you guys think? Is there an end in this? Is there something is there going to be a resolution to this, or is it just going to play out the season? We'll talk about it next year. Regardless, we'll talk about it, and then we'll find out what number it goes. But what's it going to factor in? It's going to factor on, obviously, him staying healthy, and it's going to be touchdown productivity. I'm telling you, I don't think it has anything to do with the yards. It's going to be touchdown productivity. That's what it comes down to. Now, I can't just do that. I don't want to hate on James Cook. It's going to sound like I'm hating on James Cook. He is dynamic. So he is one of those players that he could take it to the house at any point and change the construct of the game. But the numbers are the numbers. That's what it comes down to. It's the numbers game. What are you going to give me? What are you going to bring to the table? And you give me the numbers that I want. I give you the numbers that you're looking for. Let's meet in the middle. And I don't think James wants to meet, and nor does Coach or Brandon Beane. So it's going to be very intriguing on how this all shapes out in the end. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, we want to see James Cook back, and we want to see him killing it. But, man, this is the tough part of being in the business, man. Tough part of being in the business. Nick716, what up, bro? He goes, Rico, those combined stats are where Barkley got this past season. Are we saying getting barely over 2,100 yards, rushing yards, and 18 touchdowns over 2 seasons is worth 15 mil? That to me is 10 mil stats. Hold on. Let me read that again. Those combined stats are what Barkley got this past season. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Barkley got that in 1 year. I mean, and I was about to say, like, and it's not like, oh, well, Barkley was part of an offense no, we were part of a damn good offense too. So, right. Those combined stats what Barkley got the past is what he got in the season. So are we saying that getting those barely over 21? I get it. This is why this is intriguing to me. How are they going to determine how this plays out? I mean, some folks are saying that's 10 million. You're giving me 1,000 yards, and you gave me over 2 years. You give me 18 touchdowns. You had 1 year, you blasted, you killed it with 16 rushing touchdowns. 15 mil? That's more like 10 or 11. And he's probably like, nah, I'm not taking less than 15. So he's playing hardball. And sometimes when you play hardball, you might find yourself in a position. I remember CJ Spiller did that to himself. CJ Spiller had an opportunity to sign with the Bills. Do you guys remember this? He had an opportunity to sign with a long-term deal with the Bills, and they couldn't work something out. So I think, didn't he sign for something less and went to the Saints? And after the Saints, I never heard of CJ Spiller then. After that, CJ should have signed his ass with the Bills. Le'Veon Bell should have signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I loved Le'Veon Bell. One of my favorite running backs in the game. His style of running play, I loved it. Love it. This guy won, and he was trying to change, and I get it. He was trying to be a pioneer, change the landscape of how these running backs get paid. Then he went to the Jets. Terrible decision. Should have never done that. You should have stayed in Pittsburgh. That's where you made your bread and butter. But you decided to, want to get paid. That's what happens. My man Walter said, yo, Rico, you're giving yards without context of total offense, which is the most crucial part, in my opinion. Okay. Cook's 44% snaps, people like to quote, account for 21% of our offense. You're right. And that's why I had to come back and say he's dynamic, right? He can take one to the house, whether it's a screenplay, whether it's a catch down the field. It's true. Like, that's why I didn't want to diminish it to just 60 yards rushing, because at any point he can change the construct of the game. And now you're like, shoot, that boy, that's like that. But the numbers still are the numbers. And he wants his numbers. And Beane is like, but I want my numbers. And I want to see how consistent you can give me those numbers. So how about we do this? You want to get paid? Cool. I want to pay you, but I also need something that's gonna work on my end. Because let's keep it a buck here. I can get another running back coming up next year and the year after that. You know how it is. That's how they treat it. And Brandon Beane is not known. Let me bring this up again. Brandon Beane is not known to give these guys second contracts. The proof is in the pudding. Devin Singletary, out of here. Zach Moss, out of here. You know what I'm saying? LaShawn McCoy, out of here. Not that he drafted him, but he was like, you're getting old. I'm not trying to re-sign you again. Out of here. James Cook is the only guy that that's been drafted under the tenure under McDermott and Beane that potentially could get it. But he's giving him a hard time, boy. He's giving him a hard time. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But very good point. And you can't just look at it that way. You got to look at the 21% of what he does for the squad. Now, I don't know if it's accurate, but I trust that you looked it up and you got it. So we'll see. Let's see what we got here. It says Barkley had over 140 carries than Cook, and the Eagles ran 200 more times than they passed. Do we want to do that too? I mean, we're a balanced offense. We're very balanced. So I mean, that's the territory. That is the territory. Anyway, I think that's good enough conversation. I thought that was something that we could touch on. Let me know how y'all feel about it, and we can go from there. But James Cook, we'd love to see him. Obviously, you need to get Paul Costa out of here. Talk about go Patriots. Shame on you. We're gonna whoop that ass when we see you, bro. We gonna whoop it. But that's where we will stand, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick stream, if you will. And we will go on and get it going. So that being said, enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope you guys enjoy the show. If you guys have not liked this, go ahead and click that link, like it, go from there. If you have not gone to our merch store, go ahead to our merch store and get right on it, man. You guys already know what it is. Supportbf.com. All our merch is there. If you guys are really into, I mean, this is an old tee, but if you were bold enough to wear this in public, I mean, not everybody can, but if you're bold enough, let me know. I'll re-upload that to the store and we'll get that cracking. So that being said, folks, enjoy the rest of your evening. It's time for me to get out of here, and we will catch you guys again on the flip. We'll see you back again on Friday, and we'll go from there. So next week is going to be a tricky one because I'm going to be out of town, so maybe I'll bring my stuff with me. I'm not sure if I will. We'll see how that all shakes out, and we will go from there. Your boy's going to be back on the road again. So let's keep in touch, and we shall go from there. Folks, have yourself a fantastic evening, and we'll catch you guys back again on Friday with my boy Bot, and we'll get it shaking. So go ahead and smash that like before you get out of here. And if you guys have not follow the page. Let's get that cracking. And supportbf.com where everything is. If you have not hit that subscribe, go ahead and hit that subscribe. And lastly, if you have not become a member, what are you guys waiting for, man? Jump on there. Become part of the members. It's that easy. It's that simple. Supportbf.com. Everything is right there. Folks, have yourself a fantastic evening. It's your boy Rico. And we'll catch you guys on the flip. Until next time, gone. Peace.
Rico got legends for interviews. How the Buffalo Bills got the best fan base. Away games, red, white, blue in the crowd. Hey, I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Play good, be humble. Number 17, the captain. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Hey, I'm a Buffalo fanatic.